My son cut off contact with my brother after he let his mother-in-law ban him from his wedding. Now my family is outraged that I support my son's decision. I'm a 47-year-old single dad with a son, Noah, 14. 6 months ago, Noah completely cut off contact with my brother Mike, 47. The rest of my family is now pressuring me to force Noah to forgive Mike for family peace, but I don't think I should. My family is very close-knit. We all live within 30 minutes of each other. We have weekly Sunday dinners at my mom's house and celebrate all holidays together. My family helped me a lot when Noah was little, especially with babysitting. Everyone in the family loves Noah, and Noah loved everyone back. Noah and Mike had a special relationship that went beyond the usual uncle-nephew bond. When Noah was 3-4, Mike and his then-girlfriend, now ex, had flexible freelance jobs, unlike my strict 9-to-5. They often volunteered to watch Noah while I worked. They took him to the zoo, aquarium, and on camping trips. As Noah grew older, he developed many of the same interests as Mike: fishing, woodworking, and hiking. When Noah was 10, he told me he wanted to be a carpenter, just like Uncle Mike. Their relationship was incredibly close. Last August, Mike announced his engagement to his girlfriend Rebecca, 43. This surprised me because neither Mike nor Rebecca seemed interested in marriage. Mike admitted the wedding was mainly happening because Rebecca's mother, Linda, 67, insisted on it. Linda offered to pay for everything, so Mike and Rebecca let her handle all the planning: venue, food, decorations, everything. Linda chose to have the wedding at a private mountain cabin retreat. In September, I received an invitation addressed to both me and Noah. I also had a +1 option. I tried booking our stay through the wedding website link, but it didn't work. I called the cabin retreat directly to book a room, not wanting to risk missing out. When I received the email confirmation, it said, "Room for 2 adults." I assumed this was just a standard template error. I bought plane tickets for Noah and myself around the same time. In December, about 6 weeks before the wedding, Rebecca called me crying. She explained that Linda had made a mistake with the venue. The cabin retreat had a strict policy that prohibited children under 16 from staying there. Since Noah was 14, he couldn't stay at the retreat. I asked if we could stay at a different place nearby and still attend the ceremony and reception. Rebecca informed me that the entire retreat enforced this policy for all events. Noah wouldn't be allowed at the ceremony or reception either. I expressed my disappointment but told Rebecca I would talk to Noah. Rebecca insisted that she and Mike wanted to tell Noah in person. The next day, Mike and Rebecca came to our house and sat down with Noah to break the news. Noah started crying immediately. He kept asking if there was any way he could go. He even offered Mike all his savings, about $2,500, to help change the venue so he could attend. After about 30 minutes, Rebecca became frustrated with Noah's reaction. She told Noah he was being selfish and that the day wasn't about him. Noah apologized and went to his room. After the wedding in February, Noah began ignoring Mike and Rebecca. At family gatherings, he would respond to direct questions with one-word answers, but otherwise avoided them completely. If Mike or Rebecca asked about school or his hobbies, Noah would pretend he didn't hear them. He did remain polite to the rest of the family. A month after the wedding, Mike and Rebecca offered to take Noah on a special trip during spring break to a national park he had always wanted to visit. Noah ignored the offer when they mentioned it during a family dinner. Later, he told me privately that he didn't want to go with them, even though it was a place I couldn't afford to take him to. When I started planning Noah's birthday party in April, Noah asked me not to invite Mike and Rebecca. I tried to persuade him to reconsider, explaining that they were family and sorry about what happened. Noah stated that if they didn't want him at their special day, he didn't want them at his. I told Mike about Noah's decision and Mike became very upset. The breaking point came last weekend at my mom's house. We were discussing Noah's future education plans, and my mom asked Noah if he still wanted to attend the trade school Mike went to. Noah said he was no longer interested in that school, or becoming a carpenter. Mom asked, "I thought you wanted to follow in Mike's footsteps." Noah responded, "Why would I want to be like him?" I told Noah that was rude, but the damage was done. Mike and Rebecca had heard, and they left shortly after. That night, Mike texted me, calling me an asshole for allowing Noah to maintain this grudge. He accused me of being jealous of his relationship with Noah, and therefore enabling the rift. I told Mike this was the consequence of his actions and blamed him for letting his awful mother-in-law plan the wedding. I suggested Linda obviously disliked Noah. Mike hung up on me. Now my mom and other family members are telling me I need to force Noah to forgive Mike to restore family harmony. They claim the wedding venue issue was unintentional and a small mistake. I disagree. Noah was genuinely hurt, and I believe he needs to forgive Mike in his own time when he's ready. I don't think forcing him to pretend everything is fine will help anyone in the long run. Am I the asshole for not forcing Noah to reconcile with Mike? Update 1. It's been 3 weeks since my last post. I want to thank everyone who commented. Reading your perspectives helped me gain clarity about the situation. After posting, I decided Noah and I would take a break from the weekly family gatherings. I called my mom to explain our decision. She wasn't happy, but she seemed to understand that Noah needed space. She admitted her persistence about reconciliation stemmed from concern for Mike, who had become withdrawn since the rift with Noah. I explained that forcing Noah to forgive Mike could permanently damage his relationship with the entire family. I also spoke with my sister Emily, 44. She was sad about our decision but more understanding. Emily suggested we start a new tradition just for the cousins. We agreed to have weekly cousin hangouts, alternating between my house and hers. This arrangement has been working well. Noah enjoys spending time with his cousins without the pressure of interacting with Mike and Rebecca. Last weekend, I texted Mike and asked to meet him privately without Rebecca. We met at a coffee shop the next day. Mike immediately apologized for his harsh words. He mentioned he and Rebecca had been fighting constantly, even discussing divorce. I told him I wasn't there to discuss his marriage problems. I wanted the truth about the wedding situation. Mike revealed a series of events I hadn't known before. According to him, he only discovered the venue was child-free in November, but Rebecca had known much earlier, possibly from the beginning when Linda booked it. The root of the problem went back further than I realized. Years ago, during a lake trip with Mike, Rebecca, Noah, and Rebecca's parents, 8-year-old Noah accidentally called Mike Dad before quickly correcting himself. Mike said he laughed it off as a simple slip, like a kid calling a teacher Mom. Noah was embarrassed, but it seemed insignificant to Mike. However, Linda overheard this. Later that evening, she confronted Rebecca privately, claiming the incident triggered her because Rebecca had struggled with infertility for years. From then on, Linda became hostile whenever Noah was mentioned. She demanded that Noah not be present during her visits with Rebecca. Mike and Rebecca had initially planned to elope. Linda manipulated Rebecca into allowing her to plan a perfect wedding for her only daughter. Rebecca, worn down by years of Linda's emotional manipulation, agreed to keep the peace. Linda deliberately selected a venue that wouldn't allow Noah to attend. Rebecca discovered the age restriction early on, but kept it from Mike, afraid of confronting her mother. She allegedly tried to negotiate an exception with the retreat manager but was unsuccessful. Consumed by guilt, Rebecca finally told Mike in November, 2 months after I'd received the invitation and booked our flights. Mike claimed that if he had known earlier, he would have canceled the wedding rather than exclude Noah and Emily's children. By November, however, he felt cancellation was impossible because many guests had already booked non-refundable flights and accommodations. As for Rebecca's outburst toward Noah, Mike attributed it to her guilt and displaced frustration from years of her mother's manipulation. I listened to Mike's explanation, but told him it didn't excuse their actions, especially Rebecca snapping at Noah when he was offering his savings. I reminded Mike how much Noah had idolized him and how deeply Mike had let him down. I told Mike I would continue supporting Noah's decision to maintain distance from him and Rebecca. Mike asked for another chance to apologize to Noah directly. I refused, explaining that Mike had already apologized after the incident. The ball was now in Noah's court. Mike would have to wait and see if Noah ever chose to accept his apology. Mike appeared hurt, but agreed to respect our wishes. When I returned home, I apologized to Noah for not defending him more strongly and for pressuring him to attend family gatherings with Mike present. I assured him he had complete control over future interactions with Mike and Rebecca, and I would support whatever he decided. Noah admitted he didn't want to cut off the entire family, just Mike and Rebecca. He suggested we replace the large family gatherings with dedicated father-son activities, focusing on things he used to enjoy doing with Mike. We've started implementing this plan. Last weekend, we attended a classic car show, and we're planning to see a musical next month, even though it's not something I would typically choose. I also encouraged Noah not to abandon his interest in woodworking just because it was something he shared with Mike. He confessed he had stopped certain activities partly to spite Mike. I bought him the woodworking tools I had refunded after canceling Mike's gift order for Noah's birthday. Noah has started teaching me about different woodworking techniques, finding enjoyment in my novice attempts. We're planning a camping trip to the mountains for my upcoming birthday next month. It will be my first birthday in 47 years without Mike present, which feels strange, but Noah's happiness is my priority now. Noah seems happier and less stressed since we established these boundaries. The extended family appears to be respecting our decision, though I know they hope for eventual reconciliation. Despite everything, I hope Mike can find happiness, whether with Rebecca or not. But my primary concern remains Noah's well-being. Update 2. It's been 2 months since my last update. The situation has evolved in unexpected ways. 3 weeks ago, I ran into Rebecca at the hardware store. I tried to avoid her, but she spotted me and approached. She asked how Noah was doing. I gave a brief response and attempted to end the conversation. Rebecca then asked if we could talk privately. Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet her for coffee later that day. At the coffee shop, Rebecca appeared nervous. She admitted that Mike hadn't told me the complete truth during our previous conversation. While Mike had only learned about the age restriction in November, Rebecca had known from the beginning. Linda had deliberately chosen that venue after researching several options, specifically because it wouldn't allow Noah to attend. Rebecca confessed she had never attempted to negotiate with the retreat management. She had been too afraid to stand up to her mother. When Noah offered his savings to change the venue, Rebecca's outburst wasn't from frustration, but from overwhelming guilt. She knew changing the venue was impossible because Linda would withdraw financial support, and Rebecca and Mike couldn't afford the wedding themselves. Rebecca revealed another disturbing detail. After Noah accidentally called Mike Dad years ago, Linda had told Rebecca that Noah was trying to steal Mike away and replace the children Rebecca couldn't have. Linda had been making similar comments for years, gradually poisoning Rebecca against Noah. Rebecca admitted she had grown resentful of Noah's close relationship with Mike, influenced by her mother's perspective. She acknowledged this was unfair to a child and stemmed from her own insecurities. Rebecca was now seeing a therapist to address these issues and her relationship with her mother. As Rebecca spoke, an older woman entered the coffee shop. It was Linda. Rebecca tensed immediately. Linda spotted us and marched over to our table. She demanded to know what Rebecca was doing with me. Before Rebecca could respond, Linda noticed me and said she had been looking forward to meeting the troublemaker's father. I remained calm and introduced myself properly. Linda immediately launched into a tirade about how Noah had been manipulating everyone with his childish tantrum over the wedding. She claimed Noah had always been trying to insert himself between Mike and Rebecca, and that I had raised an entitled brat. Rebecca attempted to interrupt her mother, but Linda dismissed her. I stood up and told Linda that her behavior was unacceptable. I stated that Noah was a child who had been deeply hurt by adults who should have protected him. I mentioned that I now understood why Rebecca had difficulty standing up to her. Linda's face reddened. She declared that she had saved her daughter from making Mike and Noah more important than her own family. Linda confirmed she had deliberately chosen a venue that would exclude Noah, hoping it would create distance between Noah and Mike. Rebecca finally found her voice. She told her mother that her manipulation had nearly destroyed her marriage and that she was no longer allowing Linda to control her life. Linda appeared shocked by Rebecca's defiance. She told Rebecca she was being ungrateful after everything Linda had done for her. Linda stormed out of the coffee shop. Rebecca broke down in tears. She apologized for her role in hurting Noah and for not standing up to her mother sooner. She asked if there was any way she could make amends. I told her that while I appreciated her honesty, reconciliation would be Noah's decision, not mine. Rebecca nodded and said she understood. The next day, Rebecca texted me that she and Mike were taking a break from their relationship. She had moved in with her sister temporarily to gain perspective. She mentioned that Mike was devastated by this development on top of his estrangement from Noah. I decided not to tell Noah about my encounters with Rebecca and Linda. He seemed to be doing better, and I didn't want to reopen wounds. Noah and I continued our father-son activities. We completed a small woodworking project together, a birdhouse for our backyard. Noah took charge of teaching me, and I could see his confidence returning. The family has stopped pressuring us to reconcile with Mike. My mom invited us to dinner without Mike present, and Noah agreed to go. The evening was pleasant, though there was an unspoken tension whenever Mike's name almost came up in conversation. I'm still processing everything I learned from Rebecca and Linda. The deliberate exclusion of Noah was worse than I initially thought. I remain committed to supporting Noah's boundaries while helping him maintain relationships with family members who respect him. Update 3. It's been 6 months since my last update, and much has changed in our family dynamic. 2 months ago, Mike showed up at our house unannounced. Noah was at school. Mike looked terrible. He had lost weight and appeared exhausted. He handed me an envelope and asked me to give it to Noah. He didn't ask to come inside, or to wait for Noah to return. He simply said he respected our boundaries, but wanted Noah to have the letter when he was ready to read it. After Mike left, I placed the envelope on Noah's desk with a note explaining where it came from, and that there was no pressure to read it. The letter remained untouched for 3 weeks. Meanwhile, Rebecca filed for divorce from Mike. My sister told me that Linda had become increasingly controlling after Rebecca moved out, calling her multiple times daily and showing up at her workplace. Rebecca finally cut contact with her mother and began rebuilding her life independently. Mike sold the house he had shared with Rebecca and moved to a small apartment closer to his woodworking shop. He stopped attending family gatherings for a while, telling our mom he needed time to sort himself out. Noah continued to thrive. His grades improved, and he joined the school's robotics club. We maintained our father-son traditions. During one of our weekend projects, Noah mentioned he had read Mike's letter. He didn't share the contents, and I didn't ask. I simply told him I was there if he wanted to talk about it. Last month, Noah surprised me. He asked if we could invite Mike to join us for pizza and a movie night, something the 3 of us used to do years ago. I contacted Mike, who immediately accepted the invitation. The evening was initially awkward. Mike brought a small woodworking kit as a gift for Noah. Noah thanked him politely but didn't open it right away. We ate pizza and watched an action movie with minimal conversation. As Mike was preparing to leave, Noah finally spoke directly to him, asking if Mike would be attending Thanksgiving at Grandma's house. Mike said he would if Noah was comfortable with that. Noah nodded and went to his room. When I walked Mike out, he thanked me for the opportunity to see Noah. He mentioned he had been sober for 4 months, something I hadn't known was an issue. Mike explained that after losing both Rebecca and Noah, he had turned to alcohol briefly before realizing he needed to make significant changes. He was now attending support group meetings and focusing on his business. Noah and I attended Thanksgiving at my mom's house with Mike present. Noah remained reserved around Mike but no longer ignored him completely. He responded to Mike's questions with short but polite answers. The tension was noticeable but not overwhelming. After Thanksgiving, Noah told me he wasn't ready to forgive Mike entirely, but he didn't want to cut him out of his life forever. He suggested occasional contact might be acceptable, as long as I was present and Rebecca and Linda were not involved. Noah also revealed he had developed an interest in engineering rather than carpentry. He asked if we could visit the engineering program at the state university next summer. I agreed and suggested Mike might be able to help with the furniture. Noah wanted to build for his room, a potential project they could work on together under Noah's terms. Noah is now setting the pace for rebuilding his relationship with Mike. Some days he mentions Mike, other days he doesn't want to discuss him at all. I continue to support Noah's decisions and boundaries. As for me, my relationship with Mike is slowly healing. We aren't as close as we once were, and I doubt we ever will be again. But we're finding a new normal. Mike has acknowledged his mistakes and is working to be worthy of Noah's trust again, without expectations or pressure. Rebecca contacted me recently to check on Noah. She's moved to another state for a fresh start and is maintaining her distance from Linda. She expressed hope that Noah is doing well, but didn't ask to speak with him directly. Our family has been permanently changed by what happened, but we're adapting. Noah is learning that adults make serious mistakes, and forgiveness is complex and personal. I'm learning to balance loyalty to my son with compassion for my brother. Most importantly, Noah knows his feelings matter and that I will always prioritize his well-being, even when it's difficult.